Welcome to the Innovation Squadcast. If you are looking for a podcast about instructional strategies enhanced by technology, you came to the right place. In our conversations, we will talk with tech experts, share ideas and strategies to help you build your toolbox with tools that you can use in your class immediately.
Welcome to the Innovation Squadcast. Today we are on location at Daniel Island School talking to some amazing teachers that were part of our PL cohort. I am Jimmy Cate. I'm joined by
Grace Evans,
Lane Holmes,
Stacy Bailey, Pam Hubler,
Priscilla Calcutt.
And the Berkeley County School District recently offered a course for educators to engage in innovative practices to build student agency. The goal of the course was to build teacher efficacy, resulting in implementation of these practices into their classrooms. In this episode, we will have a conversation with participants as they will explain the skills, the knowledge they learned, how they put them into practice, and the overall benefit of the course. Before we get started, let's pause for this week's tech tip.
Today's tech tip is about Canva. Sometimes you add a picture and maybe you have other things on your design and you really just need a line or something like that around it to make it stand out a little bit. In Google Drawings, all you have to do is click on the image and you have an option to add an outline. But in Canva, it's a little different. So what I do is I click on the picture and then I go to Edit Photo at the top. Once you get to Edit Photo, you'll see some different tools. I go to Effects and then I click on Shadows. When you get to Shadows, you can see None, Glow, Drop, Outline, lots of different things that you can add to make the picture stand out a little bit, but I want a line around it, so I'm going to click on Outline. So I click Outline, and from there you can adjust how wide that line is. You can adjust the blur. You can adjust the distance, color, intensity. I have it at 100% intensity right now, so that way it'll be a solid black line. If the intensity is lower, it'll be just a slight line around it. But since I want a solid black line, I'm going to say intensity is at 100. So once you click off of that image, then you'll have a nice solid outline. So if you want to add a background behind it, then the picture stands out nicely. Enjoy creating.
All right. Hope everybody enjoyed that tech tip. And so really want to start out with, what were your biggest takeaways from the course?
For me, I think it just opened my eyes and really inspired me to be a better teacher. Every class I walked away with something that I could take into my classroom. Starting with the learner profiles, that was something that was like immediately I could implement and like really enjoyed doing that with my kids, and getting to know them in a way that I kind of thought I already knew them, but then teaching them how to be reflective too, on what helps them be their best self.
That was the exact same takeaway I had when I took the course. The learner takeaway, thought I knew my kids, had spent half a year with them, took the course, did learner profiles, learned so much more about them. So I thought that was great. Go ahead.
One of my big takeaways was that it works for kindergarten, because I was afraid that it would be geared more towards the older kids, and being a kindergarten teacher, it works. It works for K through 12. So I was real pleased with that.
Great.
I agree with Lane. I was kind of nervous about taking it just because I didn't know what it would look like in first grade. And my own children had done it, in middle school grades. So I was interested in it, but I was worried it wouldn't work, but it does. I agree. In the learner profiles, my own kids have even learned more about themselves as learners, how they like to learn, where they like to be. So that was big for me.
Sure. Instructors, anybody something you guys took away that was great?
I just loved seeing, especially when we talk about younger grades, upper grades, and
right.
Talking to a lot of these teachers ahead of time saying, I promise you'll get something out of it.
Yeah.
But just seeing how much they actually can do.
Yeah.
And it was beyond what I thought
Sure.
it would even be for them. So.
Yeah, one thing that I really enjoyed is watching you guys engage in choice and things like that, and how it really built your ownership and what you were doing, and really having you guys bring back evidence of what you've done in your classroom. So we were really able to see, the whole span. What did it look like in kindergarten? And we had participants from Berkeley Middle College. So, we got to see the whole gamut. was
Yeah.
exciting.
I think it was the book that we used from Novak and
Student led.
student led. The book that we used, that we'll put a link to the show notes in here, that the different shifts that were, I thought, very easy to implement into our course, that were user friendly, that just made a lot of sense into the classroom. And I thought that was probably the biggest takeaway that I got. Learned really some really cool ideas from the instructors of that book, or the writers of that book. So.
You guys were really good at
I was gonna say the
modeling
same thing,
whatever we were going to do or learn about. You guys were really good about modeling ahead of time.
And I think that makes a big difference too, because like everyone wanted to be there because the way that you guys were teaching the course. And like, I think for me going into it, I was like 4 to 8, like that is a long class. Like I was like after school and stuff. But like every time we had class, I was wanting to go and excited to participate. And I totally agree that you guys really modeled it well, and did a good job.
Kept us engaged.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. Thank you. What elements of the course were you able to implement pretty quickly into this school year?
So I said the learner profiles. Yeah. That was something that's pretty quick that you can really hit the ground running with. I incorporated a lot of choice. I already used choice boards, but I kind of, after this class, changed my view on them and changed my use on them a little bit. So we did that. And then also like the creating your own like text sets with the kids and creating your own rubrics. So I tried to start co-creating more rather than just creating and letting them choose an option, but really letting them have a voice in those options before I released them out.
That's huge step.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was already offering a lot of choice, I felt like, in my class, but I was never offering choice on how they acquired the information. So that was probably a real big thing for me. So I've given the kids like choices on what they're going to learn about and then how they're going to learn. And we've been doing that for several units, and it's just been great for the kids.
The learner profiles, definitely. And then I've always kind of offered choice, but just kind of tweaking those and what it looks like now. Just giving them more options for where they can get the information and how they want to show it.
And for us, I think one of the things that we did in the design of the course, each year we look back and then we try to do something better than we had done the year before. And the incorporation of that book had really made a big difference for us. But in the beginning, when we used your learner profiles, it helped us as well. And Pam began recording some of the texts that in which you would normally read. And, at first, we didn't know how well that would be used, but we were totally surprised when there were many people that took advantage of listening to it and reading along at the same time. It was neat to see it in practice as well as to try to demonstrate it.
And that actually helped me even, because I was reading it myself, but then of course I was reading it out loud. And then you kind of realize how the kids must feel when they have to read and the recording.
Yeah.
And, it's more like you focus on it more. So it was even helpful for me to use it as a strategy for you all, but it was for me too. So,
was there something from a strategy from the course that you wanted to implement, but just didn't have quite the time this year, or feel like it's going to fit somewhere else better on in the next school year?
So I started the pathway that I created at the end of the course. Was what we were doing at that time, but we were kind of wrapping up the unit. So we used parts of it, but not the whole process of it. So next year I'm excited to actually use the whole pathway from pre-test all the way through and develop those for more units. I've already started looking at some learner progressions for the rest of our standards and starting from there.
Nice.
I know y'all talked about the learner profiles. I didn't think that went as well with my kids because I don't know that they really know themselves that well to answer. I mean,
kindergarten.
Because I don't mind if they sit on the floor, sit at a table to do your work. But I asked, where do you like to do your work? And a lot of them are like, I like to do my work in my chair. I'm like, you never sit down. What do you mean? So, but I haven't had time, but I still have those, and I would like to put it in a nicer format and actually send it to the parents because I think it's good information for the parents to see. Sure. And just things like, what are you proud of? What do you think you do really well? And I just think I think the parents may get a little bit more out of it. Yeah. And I'd also like to do it more than once, throughout the year to kind of see
how they change.
Yes. Yeah. So that's still sitting on my desk. I'd like to do that.
definitely the learner pathway. I think I can probably dig a little bit deeper into it and offer a little bit more choice in there now that I'm not like rushed trying to, get the project done kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely looking at more of those as well. Just trying to see what other people have done and kind of, instead of reinventing the wheel, just kind of jump off that and make it better for my own kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps sometimes having a model to look at and then be able to tweak it, try it, see what you like, what you don't, and things like that.
Sure.
And having other people to do it with is helpful.
Yes.
So finding those other people that are also incorporating these in your class. So that's a good thing to look for.
I like to find ways to make what you guys create more public next year. And I think we talked about, you guys are doing some really great things, and I think we need to share it more with the teachers in our county. So that's one thing that I'd like to add.
I think that would be great. I think a lot of people would use it. I mean, I would definitely look at other people.
Yeah, exactly.
But like even like the examples that y'all would show us like in the slides that would be part of the class presentation, like that would help a lot. And like I like to look in the different templates too. Like everybody has a different, like even like the profiles, like everyone has a very different template, and I liked looking at those and getting ideas.
We don't want to waste a lot of time doing this when you find out they're like, oh, somebody already has these. So sharing is caring.
Yep.
One thing as we were planning out for the course and designing, you always make adjustments along the way for pacing and other things. And there was one part that we didn't get to that I really hope that we can get to next year, and that's student-led conferencing. And I don't know how many of you already, do that in your classroom, but I would love to see us dig in a little bit deeper and be able to share some of those strategies for that, as well as to give you guys an opportunity to have a student-led conference with us. At the end, we kind of tied everything together with that specialized Ignite presentation. But, how might that look if you had a choice, whether it's that or a student-led conference? So those are just things that are kind of swimming through our heads. We constantly reflect on it, and there's always something that we can do to grow and improve.
Absolutely. Yep. Cool. And the last question we have for you guys are, how are you going to be able to share this inside of your school with people around you so that, what you learn can grow, and what would you maybe talk to, and say to other educators out there about, being a part of something like this moving forward? So
I shared some of the stuff that we've done at my PLC. Everyone really likes looking at it, and I put it like in our shared Google Drive. But other than that, like my friends at school that might necessarily not be on my grade level, I told them that this was like the best PD that I ever took. And I was like, I know it's the most time, but it was hands down the best, and I got the most out of it. So I highly recommend to anyone listening.
I shared a lot of the technology. Schoology is new to us in our grade level and here. And we used a lot of Schoology, so I was able to show them just tips and tricks on that, and Canva. Canva. I love Canva. So we shared out things in PLC, and
excellent.
Just within the grade level, and then just other teacher friends that I talk to about don't be afraid to try, just jump on in and do it. We've got some new people coming to our team next year, so that'll be another opportunity to pull some more people in and get going with that.
Nice.
And to tell everybody it's okay that it doesn't work out. It's
Right.
okay to be messy.
Or even if
it's
it's
okay
just like pieces at first. Like it can be like, I feel like it sounds like it was like a big jump, but there's like little things that you can start to do rather than just like dive into the deep end.
And like you said, you're probably doing a lot of these things in your classroom already. It's just, tweaking it, reframing it just a little bit, but there's really not.
Right.
You're doing, most teachers are doing a lot of these elements already.
Those little small shifts can make big impacts on student learning.
Yeah. And we had talked about that when we were looking at this book. It's like even if we never said the word personalized learning, and you literally just looked at those shifts and picked a few things here and there, it would make a world of difference. So they're easy shifts to make.
We definitely recommend that book. It was Tucker and Novak, right? The shift to were student led, right?
Student led.
We'll put a link to the show notes. Definitely check out the show notes.
Exact title, but I know it's student led.
It should be burned into our memory as much as we looked into it. But
I lost the front cover of mine.
So definitely check out that book. We'll put a copy of the show notes. The show notes are found in the description window, wherever you find your podcast, or on our YouTube playlist. You also have the opportunity for PD for 2 episodes. Every 2 episodes you watch or listen to, you fill out a Google form. and the link to Unified Talent is in our show notes as well. So really appreciate you guys all being here. Really appreciate you taking the course, and appreciate everything you're doing for our students here at Berkeley County.
Kudos to Daniel Allen. Thanks
Absolutely.
so much.
All right. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.